my most popular videos to date is part of my Veganism for Beginners series, and it is the shopping list video. I have a lot of views on that video, and basically every single day people are adding comments and questions to it. And so I wanted to make this video about meal prepping and what I do, because maybe it'll be helpful to you to take a couple of these tips or all of these tips and add them and incorporate them into what you do to save money and also to be prepared. As the saying goes, and it's very cliche, but it's very true, failure to plan is planning to fail. And I know that to be so true in every area of my life. So this is just one area that I want to share with you how I meal prep. This saves money, it saves time, and it just keeps you on track. My first tip is to always keep something on the fridge or near the fridge that you can write on. So whether that be a Post-it, a chalkboard, a dry erase board, a pad of paper, something, there's always a pen and something to write with there, so that as soon as I realize that I'm out of something, I write it down right away. Because otherwise, I don't know about you, but I'll think like, oh, I'll write that down later. And it's never ever happened in the history of my life. So I always want to write down, if I've just used up the last bit of something, I will write it down so I remember to add it to my list for that week. As much as possible, I try to get to the grocery store on the same day of every single week, and it's very important to me to run through all of the food that we have in the house before purchasing more, because I feel that you can really get to the end of your budget, you can get to the end of all of your food that you make for that week. That saves you money, and it also saves you kind of just a little bit more organization in your fridge and your pantry. You know what you're out of, and this is a really easy way to get a list going for the next time that you go to the grocery store. Find recipes that inspire you. This is always something that I find that a lot of people get stuck in, kind of a food rut. You have the same thing over and over, and then all of a sudden you're bored, and then all of a sudden you're like, I don't know if I want to be vegan, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, maybe I'll add some cheese, and maybe I'll add some meat, and then all of a sudden you're eating processed food, and it's just really a downward spiral. So search blogs, search websites. I have a big special project I can't wait to share with you guys. It's gonna come out in about a month, and I will give you some inspiration for recipes through that as well. Find things that make cooking seem exciting to you, flavors that you wanna try something different, and just collect those, whether it be screenshotting things that you find interesting, or going through cookbooks, or finding blog posts. There's so many things out there and so many delicious foods to try to make on your own that it's just really exciting. So that's a great way to keep things fresh and exciting, and will help you plan your grocery shopping list better. The night before you actually head to the grocery store, have a little powwow with your family or whoever you live with that you share the grocery costs with, and ask them, what do they want to eat? What sounds good to them this upcoming week? Maybe you haven't had something in a couple weeks and it's a real family favorite, and so everybody wants you to make that. So that will input into what you're planning on shopping for and what you're planning on making as a meal that you all can sit down together at the table as a family. Food time is such a time of just relaxation and time to kind of ask each other how their day was and what's going on. So it's a great way to plan your meals together, but also then to keep the family together and have some real quality conversation over those wonderful meals. I have a planner that I use for pretty much everything. By the end of a week, it just looks destroyed because I've written everything on there. But one of the things that I start my week out when I come to a new fresh page is I will write what I'm planning on making for dinner every single day. So I know what ingredients I need to get for those days. And some days, you know, maybe it comes to that day and maybe I don't want what I've put on that day, but I'll switch it with another day because I know I have the ingredients for it. In my house, lunches and breakfasts are kind of just whatever. They're either leftovers or it's lots of fresh fruits and veggies. So the main meal that I plan for a lot of times is dinner, or sometimes it's lunch, depending on our work schedules around the house and who is going to be where. So for me, 2 of the meals are very loosely planned, and I have gotten the groceries to accommodate for those, and 1 is structured, giving me a little bit more flexibility with how I make my grocery list. Another tip is to always have staples available in your house, things that you like to eat that are good for you. So some examples of that for my house are lots of fruits, lots of veggies, frozen fruits, frozen vegetables and fruits that I can juice, almonds, cashews. I use a ton of cashews for lots of different dips and such. Rice, I love to have a ton of brown rice on hand. I have organic pasta on hand. I have oats on hand, so that it's easy to whip up anything from any of those. I will link another video down below where I talk about my pantry essentials, and a lot of what I've just named is in my possession at all times for those kind of occasions when you're not really sure what you want, but you know you have enough stuff to make it. Eat your leftovers. This is so important to saving money. It's so important. If you make some great meal for dinner and then it just sits in your refrigerator until you throw it down the sink, that's really a waste of money. You need to make sure that you are eating those because they're still good. You can pair them with some fresh cut vegetables that you just cut up real quick, and your meal is ready within 5 to 10 minutes, where normally you would have to prepare a whole nother meal. So leftovers are a real way to extend your money and extend the food to the end of the week. If you have the time, I always recommend cutting up fruits and vegetables fresh when you're about to eat them. But I also understand not everybody has the time to do that and you might be a little crunched. So I'm all for meal prepping ahead of time, but there's certain things that I will do in shorter times ahead as opposed to others. So an example of that would be, I'm fine with cooking a giant batch of rice or pasta earlier on in the week and then using that throughout the week, or even like making some homemade black beans and again having those last throughout the week. But I prefer to cut my fruits and vegetables fresh because as soon as you start to cut them, they start to lose a little bit of their nutrition value, and you want to keep it as fresh as possible. However, if for lunch I'm having some lettuce and I'm going to chop up enough that I need then, I will chop up a little bit more so I know that I have some for a snack later or for dinner later, or if I'm chopping up some strawberries and I know I'm gonna eat them in a few hours as well, I'll do that. So a couple of hours in advance is okay, and it will help you save some time later on. Keep your fridge and your pantry organized. An overstuffed fridge is the easiest way for things to spoil, first of all, and also to never actually know what you have inside. It's like a giant mess trying to search through there. You don't know what you have, so you go back to the grocery store, you rebuy something, then you go in the refrigerator, and at the back of the fridge, you found you had it all along. It's such a waste of money and energy because the fridge has to work harder to keep things cool when it's completely packed. The bottom line is all of these tips will help you save not only money, but they will help you save time, and they will help you stick to a really great whole foods plant-based diet. Just a little bit of planning, a little bit of ahead thinking or preparation ahead of time makes all the difference. I know for myself and my family, it's wonderful to know, lined up we have these meal options. What do you want to eat tonight? Or if you're even more structured, tonight we're having this and you're gonna like it. Either way, there's lots that can be done in this sector, and I just wanted to share some tips that I use. Let me know any of your tips. If this video was helpful for you, let me know down below. I can do some more of these kind of organizational things that just help you have an easier time sticking to a great diet. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.